G'day, Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series, and welcome once more to another adventure. Myself and Damon, along with his 1975 Land Rover Series 3 109 inch, are heading off for, well, its biggest adventure yet. We're crossing the state of Tasmania, Victoria, in a bid to get to a small little town in New South Wales called Cooma in time for the Land Rover 75th and a special showing of Road to Ruin. So if you want an adventure, then you know exactly what to do. Sit back, relax, but most importantly, stay tuned.
So just looking at the oil, we've got a bit of an exhaust leak. I reckon the exhaust manifold's actually a little bit warped, so there's a bit of ticking going on under load. We might just have to put up with it. If it gets real bad, we could probably take it off and put some Celastic, copper Celastic on it, but better off just to leave it. So all looks good, oil level's good. We do have an oil leak coming out of the fuel lift pump, but it's okay, I think. We'll keep that moving.
Good morning, and we had a great day yesterday. We've driven from the Huon Valley in southern Tasmania right up here to the northern port of Devonport, and we're getting ready to actually hop on what is the Spirit of Tasmania and continue our trip north out there across the Bass Strait. Now this is very special because this will be the first time in 48 years that Damon's Land Rover has left Tasmania and actually ventured onto the mainland. Anyway, we better head over to the other side of the river and get ready to head onto the boat. Sitting on the open freeways, the 202 ticked along nicely. The miles slowly faded away, and as we started getting into the start of the Victorian High Country, we felt we had it made, but not for too long. This would prove to be one of the interesting parts of this adventure. So as you can see behind me here, the Series 3 is having a rest on the side of the road. We've had a bit of misfortune. It's been running so well on this trip, but Damon's diagnosed the issue. And the felt timing gear or fibre timing gear in the actual 202 engine, which is in it, Holden 202, has completely disintegrated. So we're 15 k's west or on the Bairnsdale side of Orbost, so we've been here for a couple of hours. I've done the call around, and as much as I hate to admit this, for the first time in my life, I'm going to use a tow truck to get us to Orbost. We're currently trying to get some a gear set, a timing gear set for the motor. Might have to wait a day or so for that. And yeah, Damon's had a chat to a good friend of ours and has sort of come up with a bit of a plan as to how we'll get the Land Rover up and running again. It's going to be a major mission and a major operation. Will it happen? Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, so to get under the timing cover, we got to take the harmonic balancer off. We've got to pull that off with a special puller tool. To do that, we've got to take the whole front end out, radiator. We've got to take the bull bar off, bumper off. Now we can get in there. Quick update, we haven't really shown the in-betweens because we've been pretty busy trying to get this thing back together and working. So we'll show some pictures on the screen as I took some along the way. So luckily the tyre shop here actually had exactly what we're after, and this was on the shelf for 17 years and they just remembered they might have it. So this is an alloy one. You can see I didn't use the crank gear because all I've done is put the camshaft gear onto the actual end of the camshaft after taking the fibre gear off. Now it's really important just to have the two timing markers lined up. That's the most critical, and after that you just got to make sure that the timing's right, and luckily for us it's spot on as it was before, because potentially it could be 180 out because it was turning without the actual engine operating properly, so potentially could be out of time. And yeah, right now we're just putting it back together. I have put a lot of Sikaflex on the bottom of the sump because yeah, the design's not great, and because we're doing it the other way around, usually you put the sump on last and then you put it on properly, but in this case I haven't, so hopefully it holds up and put it back together, and hopefully we'll do a few test runs, see how it goes.
Having left the festivities of the Rover 75th, which had been a great event to be a part of, it was nice to finally get back out on the open road, into the serenity of the Victorian High Country. Here we could reflect upon the lead-up, the saga, the adventure and more that had led us to this event and to this fantastic part of the world, but giving ourselves time to reflect and say nothing at all after being talked out by the event was certainly what we needed. The Series 3 was at its best, and it was finally nice to be able to enjoy the vehicle as it was engineered and made to be intended to. However, where we would end up that night would be something out of this world. So we've camped at an incredible spot on our bid to get back to Tasmania. And obviously, as you can see, the stunning Victorian High Country behind us here. Now, as you know, I've got a bit of a weak thing for rocks, and it's great to look into the bush, and it's amazing what you can find. Now, the peaks that you can see behind me here are quite pointy in nature, and this is because these very mountains, unlike Tasmania, haven't been affected by glaciation. The other thing that's really interesting is these are the new kids on the block. They've only been around for 500 million years. And unlike other mountain ranges in Australia, they're growing in height and stature each year as the Pacific tectonic plate is hitting up against the Australian mainland and causing them to rise ever so slightly year by year, giving us the elevated region that is the Victorian High Country. Anyway, I could talk about these all day, but we've got miles to make and a boat to catch, so we better fire up that landy and get on the road.